The phone vibrated against the mahogany desk. A low, rhythmic hum. "I'm not your property. I'll be late. Don't call." I stared at the screen, the blue light reflected in my glass of scotch. Elena's words were sharp. They were meant to draw blood, to provoke a defense, to make me beg for her time. I didn't call. I didn't type a paragraph of desperation. I sipped the amber liquid and felt the ice click against my teeth. The silence in the house was a physical weight. It felt like the air before a storm, heavy, charged, and deceptive. I typed 5 words, "I'm not your husband anymore." Then the finality, "Don't come back." I hit send. The phone went dark. 5 seconds passed. 10. Then the explosion. The screen ignited. A name, a face, a missed call. 1, 3, 7. The vibration became a frantic heartbeat on the wood. She wasn't late anymore. She was terrified. It didn't start with a text. It started with a smell, a faint metallic scent of expensive cologne that wasn't mine. It started with the way she began locking her phone, screen down, always within reach, like a weapon she feared would misfire. I watched her for months. I am a man of details. I notice when the seat in her car is adjusted 3 inches back. I notice when the mileage on the odometer doesn't match the trip to her sister's house. I didn't scream. Screaming is for the weak. It gives the guilty a chance to prepare. I became a ghost in my own marriage. I watched her laugh at jokes on her screen while I sat across from her, sharing a meal that tasted like ash. I saw the way she looked at me, with a mix of pity and boredom. She thought I was oblivious. She thought my silence was stupidity. In reality, my silence was a net, and she was swimming right into the center of it. I hired a man who specializes in shadows. No DNA tests, no messy scenes, just data. I sat in my office every night, reviewing the logs. A hotel in the city, a recurring charge at a jewelry store for a bracelet I never saw. The GPS coordinates showed her parked in a secluded lot for 3 hours every Tuesday. My heart didn't break, it calcified. Every piece of evidence was a brick in a wall I was building between us. I continued to kiss her cheek in the morning. I continued to pay the bills. I watched her lie with such grace that it was almost beautiful. "I have a late meeting, Leo. Don't wait up." "Of course, Elena. Work hard." The rage was there, but I kept it under pressure. PV equals nRT. When you decrease the volume of your soul, the pressure rises until it becomes lethal. I was becoming a diamond, hard, sharp, unbreakable. The folder arrived at 6 p.m. today. High-resolution photos. Elena, not at a meeting, not with a sister. She was with Julian, my business partner, the man who gave the toast at our wedding. The photos showed them in the window of a penthouse I paid for through a shell company she thought I didn't track. They looked happy. They looked like they were winning. I felt a strange sense of peace. The not knowing is the torture. The knowing is the cure. I didn't feel like a victim. I felt like a judge. I went to the safe. I took out the deed to the house, the divorce papers I'd had drafted weeks ago, and the flash drive containing the embezzlement evidence I'd gathered on Julian. Then I sent the text. The front door burst open at 11:45 p.m. Elena was breathless. Her hair was a mess. The property she didn't want to be was suddenly her only lifeline. "Leo, what was that text? Are you insane?" She stopped in the foyer. I was sitting in the dark, the only light coming from the fireplace. I didn't stand up. "You're late," I said. My voice was a flat line. I can explain. I was stressed. I didn't mean it." She reached for me. I placed the folder on the coffee table. She opened it. The color drained from her face. It was a physical transformation, the blood fleeing a sinking ship. She began to shake. The tough, independent woman vanished. Leo, please, it meant nothing. It means everything, I said. I've already liquidated the joint accounts. The locks are being changed at 8 a.m. Julian is being served with a fraud lawsuit as we speak. She fell to her knees, a cliché. You can't do this. I already did. I stood up and walked toward the door. She was sobbing now, loud, ugly sounds that filled the empty rooms. It didn't move me. It was just noise, like a radio left on in an empty house. I looked at her one last time. She wasn't the woman I loved. She was just a stranger who had overstayed her welcome. The power hadn't shifted. It had simply returned to its rightful owner. I walked out into the cool night air. The world felt sharp, clear. I didn't look back at the windows. I felt nothing, and for the first time in years, nothing felt like everything. The hunt was over, and I was the only one who survived the winter.